I was diagnosed at 65.
37, earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
This is one of several protests that have happened here at City Hall. What's different about today's, if anything?
What's different about today is we're on the verge of winter here. It's getting really cold, and we still haven't heard the mayor say what we want him to say, which is that he's going to stop the raids of homeless encampments. We met with the mayor back in May. He said that he was interested in the rapidly deployable pallet shelters and that he would look into it. They say they're still looking into it, which says to us they're not going to do it. The mayor says that he's for the quality of life. What about the quality of life of the people who are living outside as winter is coming? He doesn't seem concerned about that at all. He counts the number of ATVs that he destroys. How about counting the number of shelter beds that he's offering to the hundreds of people who are living outside in his city? And we still are protesting the clearing, the raid on the Charles Street encampment. And the mayor says, well, it was private property. Well, that private property owner was absentee. There had been people living there for 5 years. He didn't even know it. He didn't keep up his property. He didn't fence it off. It wasn't posted. And he is the one who should have been punished, not the people who were living there. What about their private property rights? What about their tents? What about their vital documents? Many of which were destroyed in the raid. We do understand that we met with the chief of police and with Emily Crowell, who is the chief of staff for the mayor. We do think that the chief, he did apologize to one of the people who was at that encampment for the behavior of his officers. And we hope that he will follow that up with instructions to his officers about how they should respect people, their private property, their privacy. There's a state law called the Homeless Bill of Rights, which says that you have to treat people who are homeless exactly as you treat people with homes, and that you have to respect their privacy, you have to respect their private property. Every single raid that has happened has violated the Homeless Bill of Rights. So the Providence police and other police departments, let's say Woonsocket, for example, they've all broken that law. And our police departments ought to be the first people who are following state law. So that's what we're objecting to. We want the mayor to say he won't raid encampments until he's providing something better than the tents. He's provided nothing. He keeps saying, well, here are the people we've contracted with. Here are the people we're giving money to, the state or the nonprofits. He's done nothing. The only thing he's taken responsibility for is to raid these encampments and cause trauma to those people.
Now, the state did announce their winter plans, if you will. The Secretary of Housing with 318, I believe, more shelter beds. Is that a step in the right direction?
It's a step in the right direction, but the state is having problems getting towns and cities to agree to having shelter beds in their town or city, having very low-income housing or supportive housing in their town or city. So we do believe that the housing secretary is doing his best, but everyone in the state, this includes all the residents of the state and all the mayors and all the town councils and city councils have to pull together to solve this. If that doesn't happen, people are going to be left outside, and we will see people die outside, which happens every year, unfortunately.
Professor Hirsch, the cities like Woonsocket now are starting to point to this as a state problem, and at the event that was just mentioned, we asked the Secretary prior what additional bed space, actually incremental, in-place shelter beds would be available Thanksgiving. And we were told, well, Thanksgiving's a very specific date. Do you see any actual movement, or is this, some would say, posturing?
I don't think it's posturing. I think he's trying, and he's having trouble finding sites for beds. We'd like, the Mayor Smiley here in Providence to be the first to say, here's a site for the rapidly deployable shelters that he said he was interested in building. That would be a good first step. There are more people in encampments in Providence than any other city or town in the state.
And this seems like something that we see and deal with every year this time of year. What are your thoughts on just here we are again, if you will?
The difference is really since COVID, but especially this year, the latest estimate is that there are 422 people living outside. So there are more people. We started these protests more than 2 years ago, and there still hasn't been an effective solution to get people off the street. And I'll just say, we're not willing to accept that people are living outside in winter in Rhode Island. And we're going to keep protesting until that problem is solved.
Over those 2 years that you just mentioned, homelessness has gone up quite a bit, maybe doubled. And we're seeing an increase in not only homelessness, but the rate of homelessness.
And probably more than doubled in terms of unsheltered homelessness.
Right.
We used to be around 50 to 100 living outside. Now we're 450. So that's, it's just not acceptable. I know we're not LA, we're not Seattle, we're not Portland, but we've never accepted having this many people living outside. And I would ask everybody watching to call their elected officials, particularly in their town or city, and say that they want to help, that they want more shelter beds, and especially they want permanent housing for people who are living outside. We need people to support that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for the coverage. We have some people available for interviews. Terry Wright from DARE, if you would like to interview her.
Get my arms a little.
Yeah, I appreciate your doing that. Hey, Terry. The phone came down, which I really appreciate because it's really early for house. It is. So I already went.
It was a chore for me. I walked halfway here, and then got the bus. I was just like, I don't have a snooze, so my internal clock was like, all right, another 3 minutes, another 3 minutes, get up and get out.
I'm not a morning person.
I don't know why.
So I guess Miley's on the seatbelt essentially as we speak.
I'm just trying to save a seat. He's in the hot seat right now. I'm trying to pull it off. It makes no sense. Smiley ever come out to any of the encampments?
I don't think he's ever been.
Is he giving out donuts or warm blankets or anything?
I don't think Crowell's been there. He's told me nothing. Well, I threw him into the bus. Act that way. How are you doing there? Good. That's good. Take this one? Wants to go to the entrance after don't see why they love the visuals.
The tent.
They do. They do. So we'll have to think through what we're going to do next. It's possible Smiley might be doing it.
We're having meetings with realtors and landlord buddies. Protecting the money.
So, folks, if you're just joining us, Professor Eric Hirsch, who's one of the lead activists and in terms of challenging the Smiley administration's response, has spoken. We're just sort of giving people a visual, just to sort of drink it in. We're directly across the street from Kennedy Plaza, which a lot of folks will describe as sort of the ground zero of a lot of social problems that we're facing here in Rhode Island.
Thought you were done with that, right?
So we're going to stay this with a few minutes.
You're going to wind up with a
Tent set up. We're in front of City Hall. Last night, of course, we have up the protest from folks supporting Israel's actions in the Middle East. You can see that at facebook.com/coalition, and we'll be posting this soon. Thank you. We're going to sign off. We'll be back on live, on and off all day. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks. Stay tuned.